影の月が見てる真夜中のラビリンスアンドゥ踊りましょうアンドゥ甘いアンドゥ踊りましょうこの魔法を解けるまでアンドゥ酔いしれてアンドゥお味わいかがアンドゥ酔いしれて迷れる旅人さ怪しく刺さってカップ劇薬でも構わないこのまま溶けて混ざり合う夢の筒飲み干した流れない悲劇という名の魔法で狂わせてショコラティエ踊りましょうアンドゥ飽き足りないのアンドゥ踊りましょうこの体が果てるまでアンドゥ酔いしれてアンドゥ血潮の先アンドゥ酔いしれてまた会える旅人さこぼれたマカロンの涙ここで終わってもいいのと噛みしむほのか香り立つアルコールのどぶれついて離さない悲劇という名の魔法で焦がしてキャラメリゼ呪いは時のままで今日も一人ラビリンス
Good evening and welcome back to my dwarven fortress of Esmulrakust, where I'm apparently currently inspecting a shale cabinet. Last session I did a bit of trying to cheer up my dwarves, in particular by giving some of them better bedrooms, which has included this slightly overly extravagant bed and similarly over extravagant cabinet for whoever's bedroom that is. Someone who was quite unhappy, I think. Kivish ekast unib, who I bet is still our least happy dwarf, despite my efforts. So we might want to work out why. I suspect grim satisfaction isn't really what we want there. I'm not sure we can do much about that. That's presumably a consequence of a personality that's not really in favour of yes, I suspect would have the world operate in complete harmony without the least bit of strife and disorder.
I think that's not unreasonable. I think if you had a war
Might be
which you
relevant.
won, then the best thing you can say about it is better than having a war which you didn't win.
Yes, indeed. But unfortunately, that means that where other people are greatly cheered by us winning a siege, she may not be. Also, that's grammatically weird. Still, everything else she does all right at, and she does now have a particularly good bedroom, which has she actually, yes, a bedroom like a personal palace, which should help. But apparently she's still our least happy dwarf. Okay, the booze stockpile. Yeah, okay. The last time I looked at the amount of booze we had, it was like about 200. Now it seems to be about 2,000, and our booze stockpile is full.
Dwarves insufficiently alcoholic. This is very confusing.
Dwarves working hard to brew drink. I mean, they are fond of drink out of industry, and the
Yeah.
industry is producing drinks. So
Yes.
that's probably very motivating.
Probably true. Escaping water.
But yes, that's probably slightly more booze than we need. Do I have some conditions that stop us brewing drink when we have too much of it? It's possible I don't, because it's not really harmful. No, I think as long as I have brewable plants, we'll just keep brewing them. What's that? Is that actually? I know. Yeah, I assume actually anything that gives you 60 bones is probably not a goblin. I was just being slightly concerned by our unhappy dwarf having recently seen a dead goblin, but I don't think that. And that there was a pile of bones here that had a two-word name, but I think that's actually just a particularly scary thing that has. It's still. We are, I think, doing our very best to decorate things with bones. Let's just check if we've got any. We haven't currently got any cancelled jobs about bones. I should pay slight attention to that, because there seem to be too many more bones lying around than I was expecting. But possibly this is simply because there are so many things that want decorating, and there are not very many things that want decorating, and not very many different species that we can decorate them with. And since you can only apply a single species once to an item, it will, yeah, we're not, if we've only got like 5 species and we've got 60 bones of each one, we are going to end up with an excess of bones that we can't actually use to decorate anything. I did, while I was wandering around, spot a stupidly big pile of goblin teeth there. Mark everything in that square for dumping, and then unmark the great axe. as the rest of those can go. Let's look at that. I don't know whether people. Well, I mean, I'm not sure whether feeling nothing, seeing a dead body, is actually entirely neutral, or if it might be an. Oh, there's an entire dead elf there. It looks like this Z level has not had its items reclaimed. Let's do that. And dispose of the said dead elf. Because, like, maybe some people will be upset by seeing dead elves around. It's theoretically possible. Like, it would be nice if we didn't leave random teeth all over the place, but does appear to be kind of unavoidable. We have so much random rubbish even after we try to tidy it all up. Bah. So that suggests we're short of actually horns. Let's inspect that and see what's going on. It's true, our horn stockpile has nothing in it. So but we think that's running. Why can we do something about that? Because that's obviously in the correct state, but for some reason we've got in. What way might there be from? I suppose that's a reasonably trivial task, actually. Maybe I just add it again with the same condition, and then that will get it stuck in not running rather than running state. So we went for 15 unrotten horn body parts. So in order to stop that repeating, let's just remake that task. Well, I feel that there should be a better way to do that. Right, so now that one's in the correct state and will not get cancelled again. So what's our other unhappy dwarf then? It's a baby. You can't fix babies. Right. So she still has a slight unmet need to be creative. So we could... Oh, I should press the buttons to make my computer go whoosh, shouldn't I? Whoosh button. Right, that'll be better. So we could put her through this craftsforce workshop and get her to make another thing, since she's our unhappiest dwarf. Why can't I type something into there, eh? Well, we'll find it by scrolling. Make something out of bone. What should you make out of bone? On the grounds that bone is the thing we have most of. Can just say make bone crafts, I suppose. That'd be fine. Right. While our food stock, oh, okay, it is quite full. It's just also extremely full of cats. There are some unused squares in that stockpile though, so I don't really need to expand it. But on the other hand, I don't really need not to expand it. If you see what I mean. No, the cats are fine. Cats in your stockpiles are useful because they eat vermin, or at least they kill vermin. Possibly they dissuade vermin, I'm not quite certain. Right. Not quite full because I realised I've stuck some nest boxes in the corner. Not that anyone seems to be laying any eggs, but we live in hope. Or something like hope. So yes, we have a problem with bones that we don't have enough things to stick them on. And we're currently limited in brewing by not having enough barrels, which is probably reasonable. We can, if nothing else, use that to limit the rate at which we brew things. Actually, what I should do thus is wander around bedrooms, finding inadequately decorated objects and releasing them back to the like that completely undecorated bed. I mean, I assume that's someone's bedroom. Yes. We should have we got a convenient porcelain brick or two? We haven't at the moment. Let's remove that completely undecorated bed and that one as well while we're here, and replace them with decorated beds, hoping that their owners don't want to use them in the meantime. Right, and now the undecorated beds will be moved up to the furniture stockpile for decoration. And that should then mean that we stop getting needs improvable item messages for a bit, because those beds can definitely be improved. Since they're owned by dwarves, they will be improved by adding spikes to them. See, this is a much better bed. It has spikes. It has an image of a tetrahedron in cave dragon bone.
I mean, covering your bed with spikes seems, I mean, a suboptimal choice for decoration, because surely it's going to impede your night's sleep.
Well, maybe you point the spikes away from you.
Yeah, but then
It menaces with spikes.
Without,
It doesn't stab with spikes.
spiking yourself.
Oh yes, I was curious about our dog situation. We don't currently have. We do have a Drouther stuck in a cage down here, right? Let's. I mean, we could try taming Drouthers. I'm not sure whether this would be a useful thing to do. Just trying to remember what a Drouther is. Large, long-bodied grazer with a thick mane that feeds on the top of tower cap mushrooms deep under the earth. So probably going to be a bit of a pain to keep. Let's just release Drouthers. Somewhere around here, there's our stockpile of animals we don't want to keep, which for some reason we only add things to when we particularly want to release them. We apparently already have a large rat in there, so let's arrange to release that large rat back into the caverns, into the bit of the caverns that doesn't connect to anything else anymore. So yes, there was a thing I was doing though, which was to go, we should have a pair of, in order to stop the cage traps having to catch so many things, we should have a pair of war dogs chained up down here, but we haven't at the moment. This is in part because we don't actually have 2 male war dogs. We only have 1 male and 3 female war dogs, it looks like, which kind of makes me disinclined to chain them up because, like, I mean, the puppies will grow up pretty soon, I suppose. We do actually have one. Okay, we have another male dog, right? Let's go for chaining up our 1 male war dog here. Which should actually get renamed as a guard dog. So that I don't try to stick it in the release the hounds box when we finally get that back to working properly again. By which I mean when we finally have far too many dogs again. Right, so those beds are now being souped up properly, that's nice. Our problem is now that we're short of billen rather than that we're short of beds. And we mostly make billen out of tetrahedrite. So if we have a shortage of tetrahedrite, we should maybe mine some more. Just having a quick look at our mining situation. We do not have a shortage of tetrahedrite, so if we have a shortage of billen, it's just because people haven't been getting around to smelting it recently. We have an impending shortage of kaolinite. Just catching up on IRC, but it's mostly people being confusing at one another. Right, so yes, this is at least meaning that some things can be decorated with whatever bones we happen to have to hand. Okay, apparently everything in my stockpile is studded with platinum already.
I have the blingiest stockpile. Or blingest stockpile, something like that.
So let's just have a look at what's in here. I think this is one of the ones that I just took out of service and it's already had its value increased to 1,000. Not least by an image of Thob Folded Key the Dwarf and a Cave Dragon in platinum. And then an image of a mountain in Cave Dragon bone. Okay, so what's going on with billen production then? It's not your job. It's your job. Okay, so we do have enough billen. Right, where is it? Why is it not in this stockpile? So that says it comes from stockpile billen number 55. Where on earth is stockpile billen number 55? Why is our cold stockpile full of billen? Oh, it's full of bins made of billen. That's perfectly normal. Wonder where stockpile 55 is. Can I find that by doing this? Yes. Oh, I don't think I've even looked at this page before. Not quite sure what order it's in. Billen number 55, which is full. Is that one there? And takes from the metalsmith's forge and gives to the nearby metalsmith's forge and billen number 31. Right. So why is no one moving those bars into billen 31? Maybe it's because we're short of bins? Let's have a look at the stocks of bins. Do we have any empty bins? Yes. Even ones that are not actually assigned to a stockpile. So there should be no problem. No reason why we can't take the quantities of billen bars from that stockpile, put them in this one. I mean, I don't quite understand my my stockpile arrangements here. Presumably there's a reason why I have some things in an additional stockpile and some things not. Like, do I have a silver stockpile over here at all? No, okay, that's why. Well, kind of why. Right. What else is going on? How unhappy is our unhappiest dwarf now? She's still as unhappy as ever, but someone else has become unhappy too. She now needs to wander again. Apparently, did we get that creativity done? No. Is she nailed to a particular task or something?
Oops, I've got my laundries outside. Get it to clean towels.
Thank you. She is a planter, but she will do available tasks everywhere. Maybe I should temporarily make her not a planter. Maybe planting is taking up all of her time and she's not getting to do anything interesting. And like, we do appear to have an excess of food and of drink anyway. Let's temporarily take her off planting so that she can do some other things. You are also somewhat unhappy. I wonder if that's... You actually... even more need to craft an object. Since you're listening to a story, maybe we can get you to do it now. Melville Gomath.
Well, not find out how the story ends.
That's not the button I want, that's the button I want. So you don't much like either yelling at priests or discussing your problems with acquaintances. Dizzy had an idea which I might look at, which was that the directions might be wrong on number 31, which might explain why it's not working properly. Can I find the correct layer again? So I think this, the equals here represents this thing, and that's going, therefore going to the metalsmith's forge and from billion number 55, which I think is correct. But it does seem like yeah, that's the only one that's like the same material we use in two places. And that's correct because that's going to the metalsmith's forge and to billion 31 because we want billion 55 to empty itself into billion 31, but it doesn't. I don't understand that. It might be something I would have, yeah, it might be something to do with this one not taking bins, but I thought the dwarves would usually happily split items in order to put them into bins. I mean, split bins of items in order to put them into non-bin capable stockpiles. Oh, I think we may have pulled our unhappiest dwarf Kivish slightly happier, though not apparently actually by her doing anything, just by her getting annoyed at things. Have you actually like gone and done that crafting I asked you to do? No. Why? You're willing to do any task. You're not a member of any thingamy. Oh, are you in the buttery brunch? I don't think so. Because in particular that would cause you to be military. Possibly the various people who are in the buttery brunch shouldn't be because they're all reasonably happy at the moment. Except possibly for Tool, who might want still to be there to as its nominal leader. I think we can take all of these out. So I don't think any of them are significantly unhappy now. So yes, none of those are among the significantly unhappy. So let's release all of those back to civilian life. Yes, several of my stockpiles do indeed have relationships with only one entry being a metalsmith's forge, because there's like an implicit relationship with all items anywhere on the map, which will cause, which means that stockpiles will generally accumulate objects of the correct type. It's only if you have multiple stockpiles for a particular type of object that you might need to set up relationships between stockpiles. And it's not strictly necessary to have stockpiles drawing from workshops drawing from stockpiles explicitly, and indeed possibly I shouldn't, but oh no, the point is that that this forge has to be bound to the furniture stockpile to stop the wrong things being improved. And once you've done that, then you need to, then all the items that that the workshop uses must come from linked stockpiles, which means I then have to link it to stockpiles containing all the kinds of metal bars, which is inconvenient to say the least. It would be much more helpful if I could say this can be satisfied with metal bars from anywhere, but must take furniture from this stockpile. But that's a little bit too complicated for dwarves. Yes, the troublesome Billen stockpile is this one. Oh good, more puppies. And it does have a take from rule, which ought to allow it to take from this stockpile. This being because I am uncertain what the state of Billen is, I think, in that I seem to have a pile of stockpiles here that feed this forge for making what's the phrase I want? Utilitarian objects. And weapons and such like, and a pile of stockpiles here feeding this forge for decorating things. And possibly my life would be much simpler if I decided that Billen was either a utilitarian metal or a decorative metal, and only stuck it on in one of these places. So maybe I should do that. I mean, I think what I really want is like a default metal for making things out of, but that should probably be copper, except that I do actually use copper for studding because it's convenient. The thing is that ultimately all metals are useful for studding things. Maybe my utilitarian metal should just be iron, and I should accept that it's a bit expensive to make, but it is at least by dwarven metal standards lightweight. I mean, technically we have aluminium, but aluminium is so rare that that in practice our light metal is iron. So then we could just make all the other metals that we use be only for decoration, and we could just go iron and steel are for making things, and lead, bronze and Billen. Why do we have a lead stockpile up here? Oh, does the lead no, the lead for studding stockpile doesn't work properly either. Oh, it's not even set up to take from the other lead stockpile. Yes, actually, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to say iron is for making things and all other metals are for studding things. which means deleting the other metal stockpiles. At least, certainly, bronze is kind of nice, but means in particular deleting the iron and billion stockpiles. That I think will simplify things and make things work. The lead and billion stockpiles, and I think that will make things work better. Since we're not studying things with bronze at the moment, maybe we don't care about that. I did find some actual useful cassiterite recently, somewhere. So we could mine some of that as well. At least it looked like useful cassiterite down here. Go on, let's do that. We'll obviously then need to build a wall, rebuild those bedroom walls. I'm suspicious that we haven't gained any bricks in the time I've been faffing around. What's going on with our brick production, I wonder? Okay, this might actually get us a useful amount of cassiterite. I don't think mica is very useful. I think we should also dig a tunnel through there. Just so that we can then put the walls back into this bedroom. And we will make the walls of this bedroom out of bituminous coal, because I think that's a reasonably valuable rock to make things out of, because it's economic. But actually, once it's been turned into blocks, it doesn't really matter. We can't burn it in any useful way anyway, so it is slightly flammable nonetheless. So what's going on with my porcelain production then? It's turning out that we've got quite a lot of cassiterite available here. Might actually allow us to produce decent amounts of bronze, which would be nice. Maybe should start using bronze as a primarily decorative metal. So in other places we found like these tiny little clusters of cassiterite. Down here in the granite layers it looks like it might be a bit more common. See, turquoise is a little bit more useful. Right, have we just expanded that bedroom? We have, right. I'm never quite sure whether it's better to expand bedrooms into mine workings like this, or to try to keep the mine workings separate. Okay, so we still don't have bill and bars in that stockpile. Even though the bill and bars are not in a stockpile anymore, but they are in a bin, and maybe that's causing confusion. I suppose now... No, but that's not a stockpile anymore, you idiot. Oh, yes. That wasn't quite the right way to do that. Anyway, I was going to do several things. One of the things I was going to do was to find our newly grown up dogs and train them for war. And I've just noticed we're up to 4 moderately unhappy dwarves. So you want to craft an item as well. Okay, let's look at our other... Have you managed to craft something yet? No. You are right now crafting something. Should stop you feeling frustrated. We do still have a requirement for martial training, even though you have currently no combat skills at all. So is that you do have a, like you have a personality that likes values martial prowess is probably related to that. Well, it's turned into quite a deep cassiterite mine. That's nice. I was still trying to work out what was going on with our kiln. And the answer is we do have tasks scheduled for that. Have I accidentally got to the point where we have no potters or something? I can't immediately see that pottery is restricted. Pottery is not restricted. So everyone should be able to do that. Just confirming that we haven't done something weird with the burrows. Maybe I need to unpause and wait for something to happen. All right, that's now become active. Then that task immediately vanished. But like, oh, actually, there's my kaolinite stockpile, and it has no kaolinite in it. So that is a problem. My stocks list said that we had kaolinite. I checked. Is there something about the kaolinite that we have that makes it unsuitable? It's apparently in the middle of the thing screen right now. Can't find. All right, that wheelbarrow is full of kaolinite and is not being emptied out of the wheelbarrow, which is why, for some reason, and that while it's nonetheless in the stockpile, is why we're not getting any more kaolinite moved around. Let's go and find a decent kaolinite deposit. Like, here's some on the surface. That wasn't what I meant. I meant there. And then admittedly it will largely have to be, oh, we can actually, oh, that's a bit odd. I think I may be suffering from the usual, we're slowly running out of memory issue. So things occasionally lag a bit in a confusing fashion. No, that was the wrong button because I'm an idiot. Excuse me, I'm slightly vaguer than usual today. Yesterday involved quite a lot of exercise. Yeah. Right. So yes, we can at least do a bit more opencast kaolinite mining here.
Oh yes, there's a big one made of.
Oh yes, you are quite correct. I see. Good, more puppies. We will get our puppy breeding program working properly. And the dog has grown up. Right, this is finally our puppy mill is finally getting itself, not that dog, that dog. No, not like that. I meant train it for war. Yes, our puppy mill is finally getting underway. What? Why is that stray dog caged? Did we buy it or something? We should uncage it probably. Right, yes, I think we bought that one. That's an installed cage that should be deinstalled. Ditto that one. Of course I can't just search for the cage that contains a dog, that would be much too easy. So actually, yes, we could do that, couldn't we? Yes, I could put, I mean, it's not very helpful, but it will at least keep them out of the way. I could arrange to stick some of our male war dogs, given that we now have a few of them. I don't actually have that many. I was going to say we could stick some of them in here because we don't need them all to be mingling with the females, but actually we don't have that many available yet. We've only got 2 male war dogs around, so let's not try to put them anywhere special yet. Still have that problem. Have we got... Right, now we actually have kaolinite in a sensible place. So this wheelbarrow is still full of the stuff. Like, why aren't you emptying the kaolinite out of the wheelbarrow? I might have to engage in some minor silliness in order to get this fixed. If I temporarily mark that item for dumping, will it then get taken out of the wheelbarrow? Oh no, I do actually need to keep watching that. Which is a problem. It's not a big problem. Actually, let's quickly get distracted by that and go. I'm going to assume, no I'm not, I'm going to look, that whatever happened there, all right, is that an elk bird cage now? Yes. Elk birds I've done my Elkbird thing many Dwarf Fortress games ago, where I actually managed to breed Elkbirds just after it had become more or less possible. And then asked for a crayon drawing of an Elkbird as my reward for donating to the developers. And so I think I'm quite happy to release Elkbirds back into the wild, along with Drowthers, of which we have one here that needs to be released. So let's do that. The dog guard dog. I think you're a bit confused, but it's mostly just standing up anyway. All right, we've made some more clay bricks. Good. So that situation is more or less working, but I was going to investigate it and make sure that I don't accidentally actually dump that kaolinite boulder. So that one is now not in a wheelbarrow, and so we can release it from being dumped, and they will immediately drop it, and then it can be properly filed in its correct location. So can I find the relevant wheelbarrow? The answer is not unless I can remember the stockpile number. Number 28. Why are large pots tools? That's just inconvenient. So this still has a bunch of spurious kaolinite in it. But if we mark it for dumping, then it will get taken out of the wheelbarrow at some convenient moment, I think. Right, and then I can unmark it for dumping again. And that's another lump of kaolinite extracted and then returned to its correct stockpile. And then we can, oh look, this wheelbarrow is even in the right place. So this is a little bit faffy because I've somehow ended up having to do all of this by hand, but we are gradually removing these kaolinites that have got stuck in this stockpile. Not stockpile, wheelbarrow. Oh dear. What? Okay, the Forgotten Beast Osei Dongdaoshmal has come. An enormous humanoid composed of flame. How do you kill something composed of flame? Or does it just like evaporate if you blow at it too hard? I don't know. Or is it going to set fire to everything? Indeed, it's probably already started setting fire to everything, hasn't it? Oh look, there's a fire. Has it just wandered off our map? Feels kind of weird to do that. No, there it is. It is annoyed after choking on smoke underground. Well, I mean, presumably the Forgotten Beast itself doesn't emit smoke, but unfortunately
Everything it touches starts to do so.
it does tend to cause fires everywhere. Right. I'm going to assume this thing is fantastically dangerous. And at least as a start, just lock things down pretty hard. So tell everyone, get inside. I don't think there's likely to be anyone down there unless they're off fetching kaolinite, but I've been doing my kaolinite mining on the surface lately, so that's probably okay. So I think for now, am going to just pull the lever that closes the outer bridge. And while we're there, also the inner one, but I'll probably reopen that one fairly shortly afterwards. Yes, I am wondering if the right approach to a creature made of fire is to get it wet.
I mean, this game is on Steam, so
Right, so that's the outer drawbridge closed without our burning thing getting in, so we can reopen the inner drawbridge. It's true, we probably couldn't dissolve the salt Forgotten Beast, so here it comes, causing forest fire, or rather grass, essentially underground grass fires as it goes. Which is in itself pretty dangerous. I kind of want to see what happens when it meets some of the wildlife.
from a safe distance.
From a safe distance, yes, yes.
Such distance to be determined by.
Okay, it almost had an opportunity to get wet there, which would have been interesting. There is some water around, but it's sadly dodging the water for the most part. That was interesting, it just leapt. No explanation of why, though. Bit hard to see what's going on now. The caverns are kind of full of smoke.
It has a point. If this had turned up in Keskelokel,
Now is when it would be convenient to let the sea in. Yes, yes. Happily, once the fires are burned out, until the grass grows back, the Forgotten Beast can't create more fires. Obviously, what we should do is like catch it somehow and then put it out on the surface for the elves to meet. But like it probably turns out you throw one arrow at it and it falls apart or something.
I mean, I quite like the idea of the elves trying to tackle it with wooden weapons.
Yes, yes, wooden weapons against this will probably not be very helpful. Is spider silk flammable, I wonder? You going anywhere in particular, Forgotten Beast? You just wandering around, filling my caverns with smoke? Doesn't seem to be. I mean, there surely is some wildlife down here for you to get tangled up with. Oh well, we'll wait. It'll give us a combat log if it actually manages to catch anything. And I think we have adequately climbed through a tree there. The tree is thus on fire.
Oh, what about all those other forgotten beasts that are stuck up trees?
Yes, Simon points out. Oh yes, I haven't got a log file. Let's get that going just because I can. Simon points out that we do have a couple of forgotten beasts stuck up trees, which might be a problem if the trees burn down. This forgotten beast is currently in a tree, to be fair. I think it's climbed down now.
Sits on a tree and waits for the tree to burn down.
Yes. I think the trees don't naturally get completely destroyed, but this is definitely going to kill the trees. Maybe this will upset the elves as well. It's not my fault the Forgotten Beast turned up and set fire to all the trees.
I never thought an enormous humanoid would burn down my trees.
Oh, there's a nice large amount of kaolinite we could come down and get back, except it'll probably have turned into... Hello! Well, everyone's already inside, so this is a good time, really. A vile force of darkness has arrived. The army is commanded by the goblin Lyrena Regalbreach, a competent commander. Beware their heavily armoured elite goblin hammermen. With them come monstrous siege engineers, a war cave dragon, singular, from the dark goblin fortress of Jackalswelter. Right, let us set up... These, at least, we know how to deal with, more or less. Is the outside rubbish dump currently actually useful? Yes, okay. We could, I suppose, pull the lever to open it. Just like in case a goblin is foolish enough as to fall in. Right, that's probably good enough. The release the hounds lever is... Oh, we should open one of the outer... close one of the outer drawbridges to make it easier for the goblins to fall off. That's not urgent, though. Snamos cannot find a path to its destination. That's not really. I mean, is that like a debugging log entry or something? Because it doesn't seem relevant. It's not. Snamos is not like one of mine. That sounds like a goblin name to me. So good for Snamos or something. Right. Right, so we've now that's odd. The things that needed doing urgently have not yet been done, but the thing that I didn't ask to be done urgently has been done. You confusing dwarves, you. That one has actually been pulled, so it should activate shortly. Mostly I'm going to watch the main entrance and see what turns up. Right, so we have a couple of cave dragons already entering the fortress, and conveniently already getting shot at because like our dwarves are slightly organised. We have like several iron bolts in flight towards the said Stasost war cave dragon. I think the said war cave dragon may already be trying to escape. Oh dear, someone's been improving bins, have they? They're not meant to improve bins. Bins are meant, but if bins get left lying around in the wrong stockpile, they may occasionally get picked up and improved. All right, now we have the dwarves in the correct place at the main entrance. Oh, I accidentally made the tunnelling lounge accessible again. That wasn't my intention. Oh dear. I mean, it probably won't be a very big problem. Because like we have perfectly sensible backup mechanisms for it, but yes, it is possible it will be a goblin death lounge once like a dwarf has actually decided to come and operate that bolt thrower. Goblin or dwarf? There's something wrong with that bolt thrower. Oh right, it's accidentally outside the main thing. Words, I can do words. Burrow. Which is why the dwarves won't go there. Right, that should fix that. Then it can become a good goblin death lounge. Doesn't seem to have any engineers yet, so for now it should just be quite fatal for goblins. Here is the dwarf who's going to operate that siege engine, who is moving extremely slowly. Can you get a move on, please? Oh, okay, we are going at 15 frames per second for some reason. Possibly because the entire of the caverns is on fire. Right, who knows what I'm missing out the front of the fortress at the moment. That all looks fine though. Right, Goblin Death Lounge. They don't seem to have brought any archers.
No, they're impressive things that people are hammermen.
Yeah, which isn't much help for them, really. Now we have a brief pause while we reload the bolt thrower. I think. You are reloading that bolt thrower, aren't you? Yes, good. At least allegedly. But you are loading it one bolt at a time, while the goblins crowd round on the far side. That's fine. We'll turn this into a proper Goblin Death Lounge shortly. Goblins, please keep coming in here. Obviously what I want is a big lever that fills it with magma, but filling it with high-speed iron is quite acceptable. My hope is that as they get better at operating bolt throwers, they also get faster at loading them. Still, this seems so far to be a reasonable siege. Though, oh, goblins coming in. What are you doing? Have fun. You're considering whether to go down another Z level because then you're going to meet something interesting. Don't think random ambush is very interesting.
Hopefully it's just an ambush relating to the siege, it's not elves turning up at the same time.
Yes, it does look like a goblin, that was a goblin siege. It looks like the goblins have now realised that my strategic mistake was not a strategic mistake this time. Yeah, so we did get to empty about 200 crossbow bolts into that lot before they realised that maybe they shouldn't be here. Which is nice. Damn it, I really must make a zigzag in this corridor so that people don't keep getting upset by it. Not right now, because it would just cause trouble, but obviously this doesn't make much difference for actually supplying bolts to the bins, but I presume they have some siege engineers somewhere who are, who are going to be a problem in the future. That all looks good. Oh, I'm paused. That's why nothing's happening. Stoats. Let's have a quick look at where the actual siege engineers are, if they exist. So we have miners, who are, yeah, all these big capital O's are their engineers and miners. They still seem to be like trying to organise themselves into something useful. Despite the deaths of their comrades. Possibly some of them are going to accomplish something useful soon. Especially since we seem to be mostly busy reloading our bolt throwers. Oh, no, the miners have got in. Pause. Right. Don't try to do that. Get yourselves out of this area. Because we are shutting it down. Right, we are shutting it down now. Once I found the correct lever. Haha, goblin dithers briefly. That's going to lead to your doom. Okay, might lead to this cat's doom as well. At least I hope it'll lead to your doom. Come on, someone, pull the lever. There we go. Plummeting goblins. Best kind. Oh, did you think you found a way into the fortress? Sorry, you found a way into the killing zone.
What are the AE ligatures in that room?
Quivers abandoned by dying elves, mostly. I suspect my unhappiest dwarves are indeed the siege operators. Siege operating is not the most cheering of occupations. This siege operator has, I think, has run out of bolts. Okay, that might be a bit of a problem. Like, the traps will probably keep us going for a while. But I think that means I need a bigger bolt stockpile at that station.
Meanwhile, there's a humanoid on fire somewhere.
Yeah, we should go and see what's going on down there, shouldn't we? Simon points out, meanwhile, somewhere there's a humanoid on fire. Probably.
There it was.
Yes, well, quite a lot of the caverns are on fire. I don't think it's got into any fights yet, though, so we still haven't seen what it's like. I mean, obviously, if I had a button that would allow me to connect the caverns to the surface, I could attempt to send it to the surface. Here is a goblin apparently climbing the in this corridor in the hope of finding something useful. I mean, I don't think you can get anywhere very useful by doing that. Yes, the fact that we've run out of crossbow bolts down here is a bit unfortunate. Our defences are like now a big pile of weapon traps and this bolt thrower for the most part. Oh right, our climbing goblin has made it into the kennels. We better there. Oh yes, you've gone. Yes, that's fine. That the kennels are actually on the outside of the current fortress boundary, so that's actually fine. I'm now like a bit. What is everyone? Where are our? What are our invaders up to? They seem to have somewhat lost interest in this area again. You still have a decent supply of crossbow bolts, it looks like. I'm mostly shooting downwards, which makes me worried. Oh, New Year. So it looks like the engineers are now building upwards from the bottom of the moat. Which I think is fine, but it might mean they end up quite close to the south bolt thrower. The stray weasel has been found dead. Maybe it just died of old age, because I don't think libraries are known as places where weasels drop dead, get killed frequently. Well, let's dispose of the stray weasel corpse. Okay, now I'm a little bit more worried. A stray cat has been found dead. It isn't covered in anything obviously poisonous, though. But oh, maybe it's just. Oh, it's the first day of the year. I remember we had that in Keskalokil, that animals appeared to all be scheduled to die on the first day of the year, in which they became too old. So yes, I think there is an attempt being made to come in through here, which might be a bit dangerous. Especially given this bolt thrower is in the process of being loaded, and so might not get fired at the right moment. Clearly we need a system for tipping magma down here. So now we have a staircase that reaches all the way up. And perhaps more awkwardly, I think the person who was crewing that bolt thrower has just run out of crossbow bolts. Okay, we apparently need to... This time we have suddenly found ourselves with inadequate crossbow bolts at 2 of our bolt throwers. This might be a bit of a problem. I think I want to, at the very least, close the the other half of the front drawbridge and try to get the Barbican back into a useful state. I mean, the traps are still doing fine, but I think we may have a bit of a problem that we don't have enough crossbow bolts at the bolt thrower there. And it will be easier if there's no one in the area. Right, so we've now closed the main drawbridge. This may not be effective for very long, but it does mean that like that stockpile in particular, ammo stockpile number 57, can be loaded, can be refilled by civilian dwarves. Assuming, of course, that anyone can find enough crossbow bolts to fill it with. But like, that ought not to be a problem. There should be a decent supply of them around. Nearby and available 1,250. Which is admittedly not that many. Let's, in order to encourage this, make this stockpile... Oh, no, that's not what I meant. All right, yes, that's how it works now. That was an excessive number of clicks to get here. Let's add at least 1 extra square to that stockpile. So that then it can be used to store more bolts. Still no one, and possibly some of those store items item in bin jobs are relevant. I think given the number of people who are running around, milling around in there, there's a possible chance that we're going to do the right thing here. But I think actually, while I'm here and remembering it, let us rearrange things here so that rather than having a straight corridor, we make the corridor have a kink at the end so that it's easier to get close to the bolt thrower without seeing what's going on, or at least you can get a bit closer. And if you're out here, you can't see through into the Barbican, and so you don't keep getting upset by what you see in there. Don't think this compromises our defensive setup at all. That's entirely their guys fighting, that's fine. Or rather not fighting, mostly being unwell. But they are likely at some point soon to attempt to break in through here. And technically that's still accessible, but I'm not sure if anyone actually wants to load or operate that bolt thrower. Well, I think someone's trying to load it, but they're probably going to have to do it by carrying bolts in from quite far afield. Because we are actually short of crossbow bolts, slightly to my astonishment. There isn't currently a miner on that square. Are they on the square below? No. Hang on, that's an upward stairway. What are you guys doing? Okay, all your siege engineers are apparently coming down. Even though they've also built... Alright, that's a downward stairway, but it doesn't connect to that upward stairway. You're just randomly building things in inconvenient places, aren't you? Oh, I wonder if I covered the whole of the bottom of the moat in spikes, they wouldn't have anywhere. Oops, they've got through. Right. Stop trying to sort out that. I know you're almost there, but that bolt thrower has to be abandoned too. Not quite sure what those axe lords are up to, but might be useful. One of them's got a crossbow. Shocking. I have no idea why this bunch of axe lords has turned up here. I'm slightly scared they're going to exit the fortress, but you know that kind of is their own problem, because we're about to open this bridge and drop them into the Barbican, which is quite a long drop. Oh yes, that probably does mean I should edit the burrow again, doesn't it? To actually discourage doing anything in that area now. And you guys all members of the Truthful Wheels, you are. And you're meant to be training, but you've got yourselves into this situation. Do I dismiss you from training in order to encourage you to back off? I think I do. Correct? Yes. Drop you into off-duty mode, which will probably cause you to go and run away, which is fine. Because any moment now that bridge is going to open, or rather raise. There it goes. And conveniently all the dwarves were off it when it did. Beak dogs now plummet. And anyone who comes in by that route, let's just make that part of the, oops, no, wrong button. Part of the fortress too, so that mining can actually happen. And the beak dogs who come in through there also find themselves in the Barbican. So there is at least a small bunch of goblins coming in that way. Udi Blibash Ginnet, weaponsmith, has created Kodor Govos, a platinum spear. He offers it to the incidental fortification. Okay.
Is this before or after you said start only make things out of iron?
After, but they don't necessarily. They made it, I think, in the other. No, okay, maybe they haven't. I don't. But strange moods do not obey anything really. This is a platinum spear. All craft ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with oval emerald cabochons and encircled with bands of platinum, drouther leather, round lignite cabochons, and jaguar bone. This object menaces with spikes of green zircon and porcelain. On the item is an image of a pond turtle in chrysocolla.
It's a spear. It's already a spike.
Yes, but it has extra spikes. So we should install some doors in this new corridor. Do we actually have like a job for making more crossbow bolts? I think we want more crossbow bolts. I think 1,000 is far too few. That might be a bit many, but still. So now what I get to worry about is what... Right, the ogres are now trying to build a floor along this corridor, which is a bit dangerous, to put it mildly. Meanwhile, this goblin is trying to climb along. So if they get across there, they might be able to demolish that bridge. So what's my best bet going to be for keeping them back when they do that? Don't think I can sensibly build a new bolt thrower here, can I? Have I got the bits for it? I mean, technically I have. Don't think that's going to work though, is it? Like, we then need to build a fortification in front of it and get it usefully loaded. All feels a bit brave. But it's probably the best bet we have at the moment. Actually, no, that wasn't right. You should build it out of blocks because blocks are lighter. What? There are really no accessible blocks now because all of the blocks we have are outside. Okay, am I going to accidentally have to build a porcelain defensive wall because that will be quicker than building it out of... I suppose I could just build it entirely out of steel. I could build a steel reinforced steel wall. Because that will be fairly light. Dizzy says, if you had mark dwarves, you could maybe pick off the ogres. It's possible, but we don't really have anywhere to shoot them from. Let's extend that stockpile again. A blind cave ogre has knocked down one of our bolt throwers. This is not really a big problem. What are you guys all doing? You're trying to store something in a bin. Hope you're trying to store crossbow bolts in a bin, but it's hard to tell. Now I'm going to lock that door. so as to encourage people to use the corridor. That means that they don't spend so much time within sight of goblins. So I think we're now probably making a decent quantity of crossbow bolts. Right, we now have, all right, it is officially a reinforced steel pillar. Now I think we should then be able to carve it into fortifications so that it's possible to fire a bolt thrower through it. So it has occurred to me that actually we need to time this correctly. Because we need the bolt thrower built before we carve the fortifications. I think this will be fine. Okay, I'm slightly concerned because it's nearly done. Okay, I'll be optimistic and let this happen. Yes. Right, now we want a new stockpile here for bolts made of any metal but not anything else. Oh, of course, it's not a danger yet to carve this because it won't be possible until that bridge is destroyed. It won't be possible to see anything through it anyway. What are you doing? You just have no job. Well, since they haven't got through here yet, what? Oh, bolt thrower! You can't walk through a bolt thrower. Quickly, mine a small hole next to it so that people can get past. That's why you have no job. Actually, that's basically the highest priority thing there is to do. I should probably go to bed quite soon, but I am quite concerned about this bridge. Oh, Stoats, I need to adjust the burrow so as to actually allow for that mining to take place. Right, they've come through the bridge. We really do need that mining to happen so that this poor administrator can get out. Here comes a miner, I hope. No, the miner's too scared. Okay, this is a bit of a problem. How are you armed? Are you? I bet you're not. Oh, you are, right. You... Right, it's fairly clear that this lot are busy bashing their way through there. And we have a problem that we can't dig through here. Let us attempt to correct that. Like that, which should mean you don't get to see the ogres and such. Until after you've released the administrator. Oh, come on, mine it from the correct side. Yes, I know it's scary when you go round that side. Go round the other side. This area is not a good place to walk through. Take a different route. Thank you. Well, that was a good start at least. Now I'm just filling this corridor with, filling the back parts of this corridor with weapon traps. In the hope that if the goblins do get through here, the consequence will be that they immediately run into yet more weapon traps. Meanwhile, I think we want everyone military to be here waiting for them. So is there another thing I could usefully be doing? Let's set ourselves to... I think we are already making lots of extra crossbow bolts, aren't we? Maybe. Presume someone is working on my new bolt, firing my new bolt thrower. Yes. Just they've somehow found themselves miles away and are carrying far, far, far too many crossbow bolts back. Yes, and people keep being scared by what they can see through there. Good, we are making masterpiece iron bolts. Actually, can't we make that job a bit more multiple? At the moment we only do it one at a time. It's like try to make 250 iron bolts at a time. Or rather, in between checking the conditions. I'm intrigued why the elk bird is fighting. So certainly elk bird versus forgotten beast. I mean, the elk bird is still, appears from that still to be doing all right. So like it looks like the actual the forgotten beast keeps trying to kick and punch, which works fairly poorly when you're made of fire. And while it is breathing fire, like it's not clear that this is actually doing much to the elk bird. So possibly it's not going to, it may just be that the big problem is that we can't affect it and it can't affect us. We now have a couple of weapon traps installed in this corridor. So let's arrange things so that this bolt thrower can actually reach that staircase, because it's like quite convenient. If I carve that wall into fortifications, then it will be able to. And we can set that one into fire at enemies mode. And we could probably build another one. I suspect nearby might be quite useful. There's still a decent quantity of crossbow bolts lying around in that room. So if we unpaint, there's the opening. Unpaint that square. Oh, hang on, you need a gap behind a bolt thrower, don't you? That's actually not a problem, we can just dig one. We have one spare bolt thrower part. So you guys seem to keep coming up here carrying crossbow bolts. Right, you're actually loading the bolt thrower, okay. There's currently no one, it's a bit hard to tell. I don't think there's anyone actually in the square that would allow them to bash that wall down. Oh, they're back there now. That's okay, they're about to start getting shot again. This is really a job for a ballista, isn't it? Like, hurling ballista arrows down this corridor would be very effective. Maybe next time. Right, there we've just dumped 100 crossbow bolts into that crowd. And, well, not much has changed, really. Though I suppose if we can kill enough of their ogres, there are still plenty of ogres there, aren't there? Then they can't get through, but... Let's set the resting orientation of that to southwards. What? It's another forgotten beast. Well, maybe they'll fight one another. Enormous one-eyed ankylosaurid. It has a pair of squat antennae and it appears to be emaciated. Its russet scales are jagged and close set. Beware its poisonous vapours. Well, at least poisonous vapours will, like, clear away. Someone actually came up with a decent quantity of crossbow bolts briefly. What are you doing now? Are you having a rest? Or are you just easily scared? Right, that's another bolt thrower full of crossbow bolts emptied into the enemy. And like, we're ready for them if they come down the stairs. I'm not sure if we can stay ready for very long, but I kind of feel maybe I should release one squad briefly. Actually, possibly if we have slots in our squads, we should fill them. Especially if we have competent dwarves we can put in there. What is the equity of papers then, hey? Yes, we should definitely pull in anyone who was like been removed because they were too unhappy, because right now we don't much care about your happiness, we care about defending the fortress. The nice thing about using brand new crossbow bolts is that they don't is that they have to be can be collected in batches of 25 rather than as single bolts. So they are a lot faster to load into bolt throwers. Hang on, why is there a staircase there? You've built a staircase down into my pillar. I'm a bit scared by that. Into my hospital, indeed. I mean, you haven't actually managed to enter the hospital, but I'm still a bit concerned by it. Looks like a good sequence of fights there, but I am a bit worried about this hospital situation. Dizzy, it says, from the log there appears to be a lot going on in the Barbican. Can't see anything at the moment, but possibly I'm just not paying adequate attention to it. So people keep coming up here as though to do something. And them running away again. I'm a bit confused by this. Currently it doesn't look like anyone, he says slightly cautiously. You're just a beak dog. That one has nothing alive in it. That one has... Oh, I think it may be people treading on this weapon trap that Dizzy's noticing. Like, it's just a spare weapon trap in the way. Persimmon wood longsword. Let's have a look. Thank you for digging out the message. Now, if it's a persimmon wood longsword, that isn't up here. This is all copper mauls. I mean, some of them will be coming down here and getting themselves killed. Yeah, I think that is a few people sneaking into the barbican and meeting the weapon traps. I mean, in theory, there is actually still an open connection from the barbican to the fortress, primarily in order to encourage attackers to go down into the barbican and get themselves killed. There are people at least notionally operating all of our bolt throwers. Good. Even if many of the crossbow bolts are in the wrong place. I mean, at the moment there doesn't seem to be anyone coming close to actually attacking here. So I think that's doing all right. This makes me wonder, though, whether there is some other... Let's have an explore and see if we can find any engineers coming in somewhere else. Doesn't look like it. Like, there doesn't seem to be much other new construction or digging going on. There's this weird staircase, but it doesn't seem to have got anywhere. How many? Like, we've probably shot quite. Yeah, they've. So they've only got 3 miners left. Ozard, who is bleeding heavily and hopeless. Ngom, who is seriously injured and on a weapon trap. Oh right, there's these weapon traps as well. And Asno, who is merely injured, but is also somewhere in among the weapon traps. Yes. Pinkby says, I know I complain about this thing every time, but I'm impressed you can discern the blindness of an ogre from examining its blood. Blind cave ogre is the name of the species. So it's slightly less mad. It's like complaining that you can tell the nakedness of a mole rat from its blood. But yes, it is still slightly surprising that you can look at the blood and go, oh, that smells of blind cave ogre blood. Still, so I think, oops, I should have looked at that. That the surviving actual useful siege engineers of the invading force are basically on their last elbows. 2 of them are in a big pile, are slowly getting more and more injured in a big pile of weapon traps. Well, okay, 2 weapon traps. And I think the third one is here in front of it, and basically the one getting repeatedly shot by this this bolt thrower. And all we need is for someone to bring up some more bolts. Oh no, they're bled out. 2 miners. So I think at this point, and they're both on that square, which also has a weapon trap on it. Sorry. Which is full of silver mauls. Oh, that one's stuck actually. That one has a corpse in it, which may mean that it doesn't work anymore. But if they move off that square, they'll land on this weapon trap, which does not have a corpse stuck in it. Yes, there is an ordinary blind cave ogre there. See, we can still find people to shoot at with this bolt thrower. Viziet says, so I think the lesson from this is you need bolt throwers to stand ready to cover your bolt throwers, and then when the enemy comes to attack the fortification, you have one loaded to kill them. Possibly, yes. I mean, to be fair, this is actually working. Most of our defences are turning out to work roughly as I want them to. They might need to be a bit tougher. And like, we're going to have more of them simply because I'm not going to dismantle most of what I've built, even as a temporary measure here. Anyway, but it is also midnight. Diziet says, also Mark's dwarves, they've never worked very well for me. Like, we've demonstrated here that you can actually, in retreat, construct a useful defensive setup in the time it takes the goblins to finish building their structures to attack. So yeah, I'm not quite certain. They tend to be, the problem with any military dwarves is they tend to get themselves into the wrong place. And the nice thing about bolt throwers is they don't move and put themselves in the wrong place. I am now wondering if it's how they, oh right, yes, I know what they're doing. Yes, you have, no, I don't know what they're doing. I don't quite understand if it's possible now to get from here to here. Because we have a downward slope there, and then a block floor open over essentially open space, which means you shouldn't be able to move from that slope to that floor. But they clearly have done. Maybe they just keep having to jump across that gap, which is going to make it even harder for them to escape once they're injured. Anyway, I think since it's midnight, and I am pretty confident that if we don't have this one, we at least shouldn't be able to lose now in this siege. Like, though I have just spotted what this miner is doing standing on that weapon trap, namely digging through here. Anyway, so maybe we do have a way to lose after all. Seriously injured but no longer bleeding. Anyway, okay, we do have a problem. It's that those two miners on that trap who I think are trying to dig their way into the fortress. And have managed, by virtue of the fact that the weapon trap has a beak dog corpse wedged in it, are able to safely stand there and therefore might be able to tunnel their way through. Anyway, they're going to be a problem for the future. But since it's midnight, I am going to save now and stop for the night. And we can worry about this when I come back, which might be this Friday, I think. I'm not quite certain, but I think that's my plan. So until then, I will say good night. Good night.